Hi, I'm Jeff Schwartz of Schwartz Performance. We're here at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals in the Donald A. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois. We brought out a few dirt bikes to display because everybody that's into muscle cars grew up riding dirt bikes. But this show is more about super rare muscle cars than it is super rare dirt bikes. So let's go have a look at some of the cars here. I'm here with Mike Keller from Big Creek Restorations, and I met him here last year. We're both Super Duty 455 fans, I guess you'd say, and he's got an awesome Formula Super Duty 455, 1974. Why don't you tell us a couple of things about it?
Well, we have a lot of documents on the car. A doctor ordered it originally, and we have like the sheet that he filled out with the dealer's card stapled to it, build sheet, the original sheet that he received from the factory when the car came in that was the assembly line. It was different than the build sheet.
Right.
It's kind of bizarre. We also have the original window sticker and a letter that General Motors sent him to apologize for the car taking too long to build. To him, and they said in the letter basically the gist of it was it's a hand-built car, it takes time to build it. So when we got the car, a customer purchased it from a gentleman in Springfield, Missouri, and it was probably I would say it was a 3. It was a number 3 driver.
Yeah.
And last year we had our Super Duty TA here at the show, and it did pretty well. So when they decided they were going to do this formula gathering, we were like, okay. So he calls and he says, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Well, geez, John, your formula is not quite that nice." And this was at the end of April. He goes, "Yeah, I know, but we can make it nice before the show." And I was like, "Yeah, that's not very much time."
Congratulations on your almost perfect score, and thanks for coming out and letting us see this car.
Thank you, sir.
We'll show you a couple of the details of it here in a moment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds great.
So we showed you that super rare Pontiac Firebird Formula with the Super Duty 455, but there's a whole slew of Firebird formulas here, an entire row of them, and many of them have 455 HOs and 455 Super Duties. I think there's only 2 of this entire row that are 400 cars, but equally cool. Pontiac Firebird Formula was like a little bit downscaled model from a Trans Am, a budget model, if you will. So ultra rare with the big high performance engines. Everybody knows that the Boss 429 is a real ultra rare Ford muscle car, but not only do you have a Boss 429 here, you've got a whole row of them that way and that way. Must be at least, I don't know, 6 or 7, 8 of them maybe. Pretty cool cars, less than 500 of them made altogether. So what we've got here is a 1955 Studebaker Speedster. 1955 was the only year that they made the Speedster. This was also one of the Loewe Coupe designs, and the Speedster was basically like a high-performance, super high-end sports car. So it had typical custom touches of the day with lots of stainless steel trim, diamond-stitched interior, pretty much like a custom car, but it came that way from the factory. Winner of 36 styling awards in 1955. Pretty cool car. Wide whites, wire wheels, all factory stock. So not only do they have a Studebaker here, but there's an entire row of Studebakers here. A little known fact about Studebaker is they were one of the oldest manufacturers of vehicles in the United States. They started manufacturing wagons in 1844, and they were a global company that exported their wagons all over the world from South Bend, Indiana. Can you imagine shipping hundreds of wagons over to Europe from South Bend, Indiana? I don't even know how they would do that. Anyway, here we are next to a Studebaker GT, also known Gran Turismo, and this is the Super Hawk version, which has the supercharged R2 engine in it. So you can see they used a McCulloch supercharger, It was, very, I guess, high tech in its day, but made a lot of horsepower. They set some speed records back in the day with those, and they had their own V8 engine that they manufactured starting in 1951. Overhead valve V8, long before Chevy ever did. Anyway, great cars, and there's a whole bunch of them here at the Muscle Car Corvette Nationals. So everybody that's into cars knows that the G-bodies are now starting to get very popular, and even at the Corvette Muscle Car Nationals, they've got a special G-body section here. So, some really cool cars. I love these Hurst Olds here that are red, white, and black. And then we've got this prototype Oldsmobile over here that was a factory experimental that was in a few magazines. Obviously the Grand Nationals and the Monte Carlo SSs as well. So we've got it all here at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, some G-body love. So most drag racers are aware of Yanko's being high-performance cars for quarter mile, but Yanko also was into road racing. And back in the day, they built these Yanko Stingers, Corvairs, that were wicked around the road course in the production class. I think it might have been the D production class, if my memory serves correctly. But mini light style wheels and force to be reckoned with around the curves. Everybody knows I love AMCs, and here's an excellent example of a 1973 Javelin AMX. This one's even got the 401 and the nice rally wheels, buckets, and console. Great looking car. Can't wait to get mine done. Little known fact, in 1970, I lived in Glencoe, Minnesota, in an apartment above the American Legion Hall, right on US 212, that went right to downtown at that time. Right down the road from where I lived was a Chrysler dealer, and we would always keep our eyes down the street to see whenever a car transporter would pull out in front of the place and start unloading cars. We'd jump on our bicycles and ride down there like mad to see if any of the Roadrunners they were unloading were Hemi powered or had the air grabber hood with the Coyote Duster air cleaner and the little Roadrunner stripe down the side. But all kinds of cool stuff that they had optional on these cars, from the little subtle decals to the massive 426 Hemis. Good memories from the old days. There was a parking lot next to the dealership, and they were just loaded with Roadrunners from one end to the other. You could buy one of these cars for like $2,800. Ridiculous. So here at the Muscle Car Nationals with my old friend Kevin Oeste, I kind of turned the tables on him today because he always used to do video interviews with me, and now we're interviewing him. So
that's right. Normally I don't know how to answer questions. I only know how to ask them. So thanks a lot, pal.
Right, yeah. So anyway, we're here at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, and Bob Ashton and the other folks that are organized this show have done an amazing job of cleaning it up, so to speak. Like really, top-notch cars here. There is no junk here.
No.
Everything is top notch. So, you've had a chance to kind of walk around the show a little bit. What stands out in your mind, is something that is amazing or unusual?
Well, I tell you, I think kind of the show as a whole, as you were suggesting, is the mind-blowing thing. There are individual cars that are high watermarks of every make and model and horsepower and rarity, but I think the bigger impact for me is to have them all be here. So my mind is kind of creating a time warp to like the world's most ultimate fantasy new car dealership.
Right.
Because
yeah.
everything here looks brand new, and it's like they're on display and they're all some of literature around them and everything, and it's such a nice atmosphere to be in. It's comfortable, it's indoors, it's well lit. So it's a happy place. It's not like anything else in the world. And what I do is I kind of take it all in and take a lot of photos and videos, and then I go home and I learn about what I saw. Right, yeah. And it's like, wow, that was there.
Amazing stories, a lot of amazing stories. And when you talk rarity, like something like Lost 429's 500 made, Daytona Chargers 500 made, a lot of one-of-one cars here, Firebird formulas with SD 455s,
Yeah.
you know, like 40 something of them things. And you come here, and there's like an entire row of Firebird formulas with Super Duties. There's an entire row of Cudas with Hemis and 446 packs, and an entire row of Bosch 489s, and even oddball stuff like an entire row of Studebakers, a lot of them with superchargers and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
so one of those rows is this being 2017, they're celebrating the class of 1972. It's 45 years back, and the class of 67. Well, for 72, you know, the muscle cars were just starting to kind of peter out, but they celebrate those cars here. There's a row of 72 Buick GS convertibles. They're all 4-speeds. They made 15. 5 are here.
Right, exactly.
You know, it's like, and again, to me, it almost looks like a new car dealer all on display.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
So that as a whole, as an individual car, there's a 68 GT500 Shelby car that was the engineering prototype for the mechanical and electric fuel injection system that Shelby actually drove, and that this car actually ran. It had a kind of a transistorized ECM, and it was an electronic fuel injection system in 68.
Right.
And the deal was, the short version of the story was that Shelby wanted all the 69 Shelbys to be EFI.
Right.
But the company that made the parts went under, and Shelby lost the program to Ford, so that both things ended. Could you imagine if American cars had reliable EFI in 69, what we would have today?
Oh, right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
that would have changed history.
So yeah, you know, people talk about, I went to a car show. This isn't a car show. This is something else.
Right,
Yeah.
which is why it's $30 a head to get in.
But it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
There's no way you can spend $30 and see this stuff anywhere else.
Right, exactly.
So
Thanks a lot. Good
thank
to see you
man.
again.
I wonder if I did all right, you know, answering instead of
Well,
asking.
you'll find out soon.
All right, man.
All right.
Have a great show. Thanks,
See
Jeff.
ya. So I'm here with Tommy Boshers of Detroit Muscle, and is this still RTM Productions?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, RTM Productions. Anyway, TV star and a good friend of mine.
Absolutely.
So, have you had a chance to walk around much here?
Oh yeah, we've made our way through here quite a bit, and I'm telling you, this show knocked my socks off. This is my first time up here, and the only thing I have to complain about is the weather. Rain and cold and wind. My Tennessee butt don't like it. I'm here to tell you.
There were some snowflakes out there earlier.
Really?
And I don't mean the people, I mean the snow coming out of the sky.
Absolutely.
But anyway, this show has been kind of a Chicago staple for a long period of time. And over the years, it has evolved to what it is today. But I guess what's your thoughts on the amount of super high-end rarity here?
Well, coming to the show is a show that I haven't been to, meaning most of the time when I go to a show, it's like an aftermarket galore type show. This one is more of a restored type show, and the clientele and the cars that are here are definitely rare. I mean, it's stuff that you just kind of don't want or won't ever see, and I'm blown away. I mean, there's one of ones of 6, one of 5. There's promotional cars. There's GM display cars, cutaways that you don't ever see. Yeah, I'm stuttering because I'm like speechless. Absolutely speechless.
Yeah, I think, I come here every year because it's 37 miles from my house. But, so I'm kind of spoiled by being able to just, roll out of bed late and make it here on time. But, even I'm blown away. For years, I've heard about the one of 8 1969 Trans Am convertibles, and I understand that every one of the existing 8 have been here at one time or another, and there's one sitting right over there. The first 69 Trans Am is here, a prototype Yanko that they just unveiled this morning. And Super Duty 455 Trans Ams galore.
Yeah, there's
Hemi
6, 8 of
Cudas
those things.
galore. Daytona Chargers galore. Even Studebakers.
Yeah, I know the Avantis and all that stuff laying around here. So, yeah, it was blown away.
Anyway, well, I was happy that you could come up to our neighborhood and check some of the cool
Sure,
stuff out.
I'd have to say I'm going to be back because it's unbelievable for a show.
Yeah. Well, that kind of wraps it up for our show here, and good to run into you.
Yes, sir. We'll see y'all again.
All right.